So the topic for today's discussion is a quite serious topic to discuss about. It's actually the deliberate termination of pregnancy before the full term growth of the fetus, which is known as the process of abortion or medical termination of pregnancy. Now, yes, abortion is actually the phase stage in which we do find that the unborn child or still developing fetus is actually being somehow removed from the uterus, and this is a termination of pregnancy definitely. But sometimes this is medically induced process, means in reality, yes, many of the time the process is self mediated, or even it's unwanted type of abortion also take place, means where the fetus is unable to carry the child, means the development of fetus is, it becomes impossible for the lady. Otherwise, medical termination of pregnancy is actually a thing that is there in from 1971. I must say that India has made it legal, depending upon the, like, there are rules and regulations for it. There are legal issues that are to be sorted out. Only then, means the condition, if it is so that it cannot be continued, the pregnancy cannot be allowed to continue, only then the MTP is actually, it is utilized. This process of medical termination of pregnancy is actually utilized. Now, this is definitely one of the situation can be if the lady, for some reason, if the mother, we must say, the is actually cannot continue or does not want to continue with the pregnancy, only for that particular reason it can be terminated. Or it can be a case where some complications has occurred, and due to that the termination is actually, it is required. So for those cases, this method is utilized. Now, for the simple, like, if we want to distinguish between the types of the MTP that actually exist, so there are this chemical method, which is the application of these two chemicals. So, like, there are actually many that are there, not too many, but few of the chemicals that are there. Two of the name have been, like, profoundly used. One, which is methotrexate, and misoprostol, sorry, misoprostol. So these two, like, chemicals are actually applied, these two medicines is actually applied. Means definitely this is taken in, consumed, and then the pill actually will terminate the pregnancy, but this is only possible up to 7 weeks of pregnancy. Beyond that point, then usually there is, like, the normal medical abortion method is used, where it can be like vacuum aspiration method can be applied, or even dilation and evacuation type of technique is also used, or sorry, or the induction is like, it is actually, like, many ways are there, uh, which is, like, mostly we can sum it up into a surgical method. We can call it as a surgical method, which is utilized to stop the process to carry forward, means uh, now, yes, due to the problem, the ethical issues that are there, and even for the uh, means it can be very gross to see all that, and even it can be psychologically uh, like impactful, I must say. That's why I am not sharing any picture of those like things, the surgical termination, because it doesn't look good. But actually the surgical method, it actually is in existence, and it is only applied for the cases where the chemical method is not possible. So let's talk about the chemical method first. Chemical method is actually a normal term, like, whatever happens is normal pregnancies, as we know that it is like the mucous membrane, means the inner uterine wall. It is actually, it does not have too much of muscle contraction. Okay, so the myometrium, as we can say it, the myometrium does not have too much of muscle contraction during the entire period of pregnancy, because the contraction is necessary at the end of the pregnancy. So this is normally what happens. And we know that, yes, the like the fetus is actually going to, means actually the embryo is going to produce, like, the chemical signal, which will trigger the placenta to start producing prostaglandin, I mean, sorry, it actually start producing progesterone hormone in a quite high amount, which will actually trigger the cells, means the muscles, all the endometrium or all the myometrium, to maintain its form, to maintain its shape, and continue with the process of pregnancy. So that is a normal case, that is the normal condition in which it is happening. But uh, the time when the termination of the pregnancy has to be triggered, at that particular point of time, actually this, as I said, the drug, this methotrexate, it is actually given, which will prevent the entire process of this progesterone going and binding, and then finally triggering the health of the fetus and all. And even the one which is also responsible for maintaining the form and shape of the myometrium. So this particular medicine is actually going to go and interact with that particular stage, and will actually prevent, means the implantation also stage is the remaining, the stage where the placenta remains bound with the wall, it does not allow that to continue. Plus it will also induce muscle contraction, which will now trigger the expulsion of that of the growing embryo that is there. So within 7 weeks time, if it is applied, if this medicine is taken, then definitely the muscle wall will actually start contracting, and it will actually trigger the explosion of the fetus. So means that stage of fetus, we can say. So it is actually going to be that way the entire process can be terminated. Now, as I said, beyond this point, the surgical method has to be applied, where physically the doctor will go in invasive manner, we can say, in an invasive manner, will actually go in, the surgeon, and is going to remove the fetus straight from the along with the placenta, it is going to be removed from the uterine wall. Now that is actually quite invasive method, that is definitely yes, a medical professional can actually do this quite well and good. But this method is all this method is applied only for the cases, means when all the legal on the legal points are actually met, means the reasons are there, and from the government, this the legal issues are all been mitigated, and an order is actually sanctioned from the court, only then this MTP method is applied. Otherwise this is completely uh, unethical, and is not considered as a process of going through this process. But and there is one thing, there is actually a drawback of the process, MTP process is there, because the major problem is there is emotional issue that happens, because the lady is going through a lot of different kind of hormonal signals and all, and removal of that entire signal in a certain manner actually harm her state of mind. Considered definitely an ethical issue is there, but more of the person also goes through a lot of changes. Even if not done properly, it can lead to some complication for the later case, and sometime can even create problem for again conceiving the child, and so if not done properly. So this is actually an issue that is majorly there with the MTP. Now, there is one more thing I need to discuss, which is the process of amniocentesis. And this amniocentesis method is actually a collection of amniotic fluid. It's simply the collection of amniotic fluid, and then by which it is actually used for diagnosis purpose. Because of any kind of chromosomal abnormalities or any kind of fetal infection, it can be actually detected by simply collecting the amniotic fluid from the growing fetus, and it is done by applying ultrasonic sound to detect the presence, or where the fetus is located, how the entire thing is arranged and all. And then syringe is inserted simply carefully, so that the fluid can be extracted out. Done definitely very cautiously, because it can if it by any chance touch the fetus, then the fetus will actually die right there in the moment. So it is done quite carefully and all, and then this is collected and then tested for every single chromosomal disorders or any kind of infection, if any. So it is there, but there is a problem. There's a drawback there. Drawback is while collecting the fluid, since the chromosomes will be collected, so by simply checking the chromosomes, the gender of the child can be determined very easily by that. And this has become quite it is used quite in a wrong manner, or rather the title can say is misused a lot, for which, like, by understanding the gender of the child, sometimes like in many of the states, as you're all familiar with, that girl fetus is actually aborted. They are forced aborted, and that's why government has completely banned this determination of gender by a collection of amniotic fluid and all. Means the sixth generation of the unborn baby has completely become illegal, and it actually is like the license of the hospital is also like taken back if any hospital is blamed of carrying out this process. Yes, if it is coming from a complete like legal board and all, for maybe some reason I don't, but like, well, we cannot even fathom those things, but otherwise this method is actually completely banned. And in India actually we are not allowed to go and check the gender of the unborn child. So means amniocentesis method is it can be applied for if there is any history of chromosomal disorder in a family, then it can be detect like through legal ground, like it can be like performed, and then it can be detected whether the child is also having the problem or not, because sometimes the problem can be sorted out in the fetal stage if it is administered with proper medicine and all. So that's why sometimes it is all carried out other, but even in those cases the sex determination of the child cannot be done. It is completely illegal. And this method actually is also like one of the reason how we come to know the gender of the child. And we had a big problem in many of the states of in our country, that where the girl child is actually aborted forcibly. It so this will become completely banned.